Hello everyone, so welcome to SRS Academy YouTube channel. So in this video series you will get passing package topics which is important for your annual examination. So this is the first video in this series and I'm covering the chapter periodic classification of elements. So now we will take up the important topics and how the questions will arise in the exam. And then before starting the topics, those who are not subscribed to my channel, so please subscribe now by clicking the below link, that is subscribe, and then press the bell icon to get the further updates. And along with that, those who are interested to take the online tuition classes, they can also contact us. So let us begin with the chapter, that is periodic classification of elements. So as you all know that at present, so there are 118 elements are known to us. So out of these 118, only 94 are naturally occurring. And if we concentrate on all these 118 elements, remembering the properties and the nature of all these 118 elements are somewhat difficult to anybody, right? And then how we can study the properties of all these elements easily and how we can remember it. So these kind of questions came in the chemist's mind. So they started to classify all these elements, which makes them to study the properties of elements easier. So classification of elements make the study of properties of elements easy. So how? So for example, if you look at into any stationery or provision store, so they will stack the products which are based on the brand, right? So they will stack in a different way. That means if you take the soap, so we know, so there are so many soaps, Rin, Mysore Sandal, etc, etc. So there are so many soaps, but they will not put all these soaps in the form of heap. You know why? If they keep in the form of heap, whenever a customer asks for a particular brand, easily they cannot take out that from the heap. So they will group all the soaps into either bath soap and then cloth washing soaps, and in particular they will classify them or they will group them with the brand names also. You know why? Because it makes them to take out those soaps based on the brands easily. So in the same way, the chemists, they also classified, that means they grouped the elements because they make the study of properties of all elements easier. So how they have started is, so they made several attempts to classify elements according to their properties. So what are those properties? So you have studied that matter, right? So basically there are three states of matter. What are those states of matter? You can say that solids, then liquids, and then gases, right? So this is one property, and another property which you know is metals and non-metals property. So based on these kind of characters or properties, they started to classify the elements. See, the earliest attempt to classify the elements resulted in the grouping of then known elements as metals and non-metals. But this classification system was failed because there are some reason. And along with that, when they classify the elements based on solids, liquids and gases, that is based on the states of matter, it is also discarded. Reason? If you take sodium is a metal and it exists in solid form. And if you take the mercury, it is also metal but it exists in liquid form. So both are metals, but one metal exists in solid form and another one metal exists in liquid form. So Due to all these properties, that means due to all this reason, these two classification system was failed. That is, based on the states of matter and based on metals and non-metals were failed. So then later an important chemist, his name John Wolfgang Dobereiner, he started to classify the elements. But whenever he is classifying the elements, he concentrated on the property that is called atomic mass. Clear? So he classified the elements based on the property of atomic mass. Now, what do you mean by atomic mass? So atomic mass, it is defined as the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom, right? So this is, we call it as atomic mass. So based on this atomic mass property, this Dobereiner tried to classify the elements. So what is his name? So John Wolfgang Dobereiner, and we call his law as Dobereiner's triads. He is a German chemist. What he did is, he found there are some elements, when they are arranged in a group of triads, their property looks similar. Clear? So this is the way of classifying the elements. So they are classifying the elements based on the similar property. So what he identified is, he identified some group of elements. When these group of elements are kept in the form of a triad, see, what do you mean by triad? Tri means 3. He observed that the properties of all these elements, they looks similar, and then you know what he did? He stated that Dobereiner law of triads, it states that when the 3 elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other 2 elements. That means he took few elements and he kept the elements, 3 elements in one group. See, if I take this group, lithium 1, 2, 3. So like this, he kept 3 elements in one group and he arranged all these elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass. See, lithium atomic mass is 6.9, sodium atomic mass is 23, potassium atomic mass is 39.1. So he arranged all these elements, that means 3 elements, in the increasing order of their atomic mass. So he found that the atomic mass of the first and third element, which kind of atomic mass? The average atomic mass of the first and third element is roughly equal to the atomic mass of the second element. So this is the statement of Dobereiner's triad. So in exam they will ask you, state Dobereiner's law of triads. So what is the answer? Dobereiner's law of triads states that when the 3 elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic mass of the other 2 elements. Okay, so based on this you will get a problem also. See, this is first group, this is second group, this is third group. He made only 3 triads. So what is that problem? So based on his statement, he made a formula, that is B equal to A plus C by 2. So we'll take it with an example. We'll take up the first group of triad, that is lithium, sodium and potassium. Okay, which is the first element he took? Lithium, sodium and potassium. What is the atomic mass of lithium? So we will take it roughly, that is we will consider it as 7. What is the atomic mass of sodium? We will take it as 23. What is the atomic mass of potassium? We will take it as 40. Clear? Consider this lithium as element A, consider the sodium as element B, and consider the potassium as element C. So according to the Dauberiner law of triads, what it states, the atomic mass, that is especially the average atomic mass of the first and third element, is roughly equal to the atomic mass of the middle element, right? See, based on that we have formula. The average atomic mass of the first and third element is roughly equal to the atomic mass of middle element. So this is called as Dauberiner's law of triads. So by using this formula we can find atomic mass of any one element in a triad when you have atomic mass of another two elements. For example, consider we don't have this atomic mass of the B element. Then how to find the atomic mass of B when we know only lithium and potassium mass? Just look at here, B equal to, what is A? Atomic mass of A is 7, plus what is the atomic mass of C? It is 40, divided by, since it is average, we have to divide it by 2. Then 40 plus 7, it is 47 divided by 2. So on simplification, what you will get? So 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. Clear? Then 7. So 2 threes are 6. 2 threes are 6. So remainder 1. So when you keep point, it will become 10. So 2 fives are 10. So 23.5 U is the atomic mass of B, which is roughly equal to the atomic mass of second element. Clear? So based on this you will get problem in the exam, and keep it in mind. Now I have shown how to find B, but when you have the value of B and C, how you will calculate A? Simple, just you have to alter the equation. How? See, 2 goes here, then it will become 2B, then this plus C comes this side, then it will become minus C equal to A. So if you use this formula, you can calculate atomic mass of A when you have the value of B and C. Then when you need C, same, just you will get 2B minus A equal to C. So you can find the value of C when you know the value of A and B. So by using 1, 2 and 3, these three formulas, you may get one problem in the exam. But there is a limitation based on this Dauberiner law of triad. You know what is the drawback? So many elements were known at the time, but Dauberiner could identify only 3 triads. How many? He could identify only 3 triads from the elements known at the time. Hence, this system of classification into triads was not found to be useful. So this is the drawback of the Dauberiner law of triads. So in exam they will ask you this for 1 mark. Write the drawback or limitation of Dauberiner law of triads. Okay, so from this part, how many questions you will get? I will explain now. So the first question you will get is, state Dauberiner law of triads with an example. Second one, based on this formula you may get any one problem, either to find B atomic mass or A atomic mass or C atomic mass, and then for 1 mark you may get write drawback or limitation of Dauberiner law of triads. So from this part, these are the important questions. So now we will move on to the next proposed law, that is Newland's law of octaves. So this Newland's law of octaves was proposed by John Newland. He is an English scientist. So now, how he classified the elements? So he also took the idea from the Dobriner law of triads itself, that is, arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass. See, so he also arranged the then known elements in the order of increasing atomic mass. Okay, but the main difference is Dobriner, he took three elements in one group, but Newland, he made somewhat different. That is, he started with the element having the lowest atomic mass. So which is the lowest atomic mass element? That is hydrogen, and ended at thorium. What? He ended at thorium, which was the 56th element. Okay, so whenever the Newland made his table, in that time the first element is hydrogen. Clear? The first element is hydrogen and the last element is 56th element, that is thorium. Okay, they may ask you this in the exam, which is the 56th element when Newland made his table. Clear? And he also arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, but he followed the octaves method. You know what do you mean by octa? So octa meaning 8. Then why we are saying this as octaves? This octaves term was used in music. Clear? So if you say the Indian music, we'll say it as swara. How many swaras are there? 7, right? See, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Like that, in English or in Western music, there are do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. So there are 7 swaras. That means there are 7. Then where is that 8? He is saying 8, right? You know what he did? He arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, and he kept 8th element. He kept every 8th element below the first. For example, see, hydrogen 1, lithium 2, beryllium 3, boron 4, carbon 5, nitrogen 6, oxygen 7, and he did not write the 8 here. Instead of that, he kept the 8th element below the first. And then he stated that properties of every 8th element, is similar to the first element. Clear? See, properties of every 8th element is similar to the first element. That means, for example, if I take fluorine, the property of fluorine is similar to hydrogen. Okay, then if I come to the 9th element, which is the 9th element according to here, it is sodium. So properties of the sodium is similar to its first element, that is lithium. That means for the sodium, first element is lithium. For magnesium, for this, the first element will be beryllium. Okay, so based on this, he classified the elements, and since he compared this with the Western music, we call his law as law of octaves. See, he states that every 8th element had properties similar to that of the first element. Clear? And he compared this to the octaves found in music. Therefore, he called it the law of octaves. So in this part, what you will get? So who proposed law of octaves? That is John Newland. Then on what basis he classified the elements? That is increasing the atomic masses. Then how many elements were known at that time? 56 elements. Which is the first element? Hydrogen. Which is the last element? That is thorium. State Newland's law of octaves. So Newland arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, and he states that every 8th element had properties similar to that of the first. Then why we call Newland law of octaves as law of octaves? Reason is he compared this to the octaves found in music. Therefore, he called it the law of octaves. So in this part you will get these many important questions. Now, is it successful? No. Again, this law also has some drawbacks. So what are those drawbacks or limitations? So let us look at into that. The first drawback is it is applicable only up to calcium. As after calcium, every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first. So then we will move to the table again. See what it states. The first limitation is it is applicable only up to calcium, and thereafter it is not applicable. Thereafter means from chromium it is not applicable till 56th element. Okay, that means it is applicable only up to 17 elements. That means see, hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, these three properties are similar. Lithium, sodium, potassium, these three elements properties are similar. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, these three properties are similar. When it comes here, only beryllium, aluminium similar, carbon, silicon similar, nitrogen, phosphorus similar, oxygen, sulfur similar, and here they may not found similar properties. So this is the first drawback. What is the first drawback? It is applicable only up to calcium, that is up to 17 elements. After calcium, every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first. Then second drawback. So it was assumed that only 56 elements existed in nature. So which is the 56th element according to Newland law of octaves? That is thorium, right? But what happened? And no more elements would be discovered in the future. So this is the main drawback of the Newland law of octaves. But what happened? But later on, several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. Because how many elements we have? Now we have 118 elements. But what he said? He said only 56 elements existed in nature, not more than that, right? So the second drawback is 56 element. Clear? Then third drawback. In order to fit elements into table, he adjusted two elements in the same slot, but also put some unlike elements under the same note. Example, cobalt and nickel are in the same column as fluorine. Chlorine and bromine, which have very different properties than these elements. Iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel in properties, has been placed far away from these elements. So we will look at into that in the table. See here. To adjust the table, what he did, he kept two elements in same note. See, in this position, what he did, he kept two elements. In remaining position, only one element per one place, that means for one note. But here in the same note, he kept two elements in a single place. This is first drawback. Second drawback, cobalt and nickel, these two are metals, whereas chlorine and fluorine, these are non-metals. Clear? That means he kept unlike elements, that means metals and non-metals together. Another drawback, see, this cobalt and nickel, these are metal, and iron is also metal. That means he kept like elements, that means metals, away from each other. So these are the drawbacks or limitation of Newland law of octaves. So from this part, the question will be write the limitations or drawback of Newland's law of octaves. So this, they may ask you this question for either 2 marks or 3 marks. Clear? And in the next video, you will get, that is important topic, Mendeleev's periodic table. So in the next video, we will begin with the Mendeleev's periodic table. Till then, so you just practice the previous topics and practice by writing in a sheet of paper, and then If you like this video, so please press the like button and then subscribe to my channel. Wait for the next video and press the bell icon to get the further notifications. And those who need online classes, you can contact us and you will get the contact number in the description. Thank you.